Hello and welcome to Let's Talk with Bishop R.C. Blakes. R.C. is an author, empowerment teacher, and the proud pastor of the New Home Ministries of New Orleans, Louisiana, and Houston, Texas. His message circles the globe. His conversational and candid approach to challenging content makes him a relevant voice to all generations. Get ready for a life-changing transformational conversation.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is your pastor, Bishop R.C. Blakes Jr., and I am so excited today about being able to address you once again on this Lord's Day. My prayer is that you have had an amazing week and that God has shown you His mighty hand at work in your life. I've been praying for God to work miracles in terms of your healing, in your finances, in your emotional state, and in every other way that pertains to you. And I pray with all of my heart that God is showing Himself huge in your life. Now today I want to get right in, and I want to say I'm on my way home now, literally. I am on my way home in just some hours. And I can't wait to get back home to New Home Church. God has really spoken to my heart while being here in Africa. We spent a little time in Greece as well. But God has spoken to my heart, and I have some things that I want to unpack for you by revelation. So just keep your ear to the ground, because I want you to meet me when I get home. I need you to meet me in the sanctuary, because there's a transformative power that's going to hit our experience when I'm home. Now, I want to talk today about something that Holy Spirit just really kind of put up on my heart. And I think this is going to resonate with a lot of you. I want to talk about why givers often feel empty. Why it is that people who are givers, and when I say givers, we're not limiting this to just the idea of giving offerings in church. No, I mean, you live your life as a giver. You know, when there's a need and you have capacity, you are the one giving whatever is necessary for others to thrive, for others to survive, for others to do well. You're a giver. But quite often when we are of that kind of nature, sometimes it feels like we're the only ones left out. It's like other people are benefiting from what we provided, and then you look around in the natural and it's like, well, where is mine? Is anybody even concerned about, mine? Right? And it can leave you if you don't shift out of that self emphasis, where you're focused on me, mine. And if you don't look at this thing through the lens of God's perspective, it can leave you cynical. And it can change you to a point where you become closed and you just don't want to participate in the lifestyle or even the ministry of being a giver. Because there are more people who are not givers than there are people who are givers. Your own family will wear you out when you are a giver. You'll find you give everything, everything, everything. And when you need them, they're nowhere to be found. Now, this is just gospel truth I'm preaching here right now. But when I thought about this, and I thought about just the feeling of being a giver and dealing with people who either cannot or do not reciprocate, my mind had to go straight to the Garden of Gethsemane, where Jesus had just spent 33 years giving. He spent 3.5 years with his disciples giving. And the one occasion when Jesus needed them to give something back, they failed to show up. Now, there's nothing more heartbreaking than that, when you have a track record of decades of being there for people, and then, when you need people to show up to do the simplest of things for you, they fail you. I relate to that. As a pastor, I relate to that. I relate to, bailing people out financially. I relate to being at the hospital with people. I relate to counseling people through marital crisis and family crisis, and the smallest little thing that pertains to me, they fail to show up. I get it. It used to hurt my feelings, but it doesn't hurt my feelings anymore because I understand it. And I do all things as unto the Lord now, which I hope you're hearing what I'm saying, because some of you who are givers, you don't need to be cynical. You just need a revelation. You need an understanding of who God is, and you need an understanding of who people are. And you need not allow who people are to change who God put you in the earth to be. Because if you're in the giver's position, it means that you're in the blessed one's position. You can only be in the giver's position when you are the blessed one. But let's go back to Matthew chapter 26, verses 38 through 41, where Jesus is in this Garden of Gethsemane, and he's been nothing but a giver. And now he needs, and he's asking, and they fail him. Listen to how it reads. Then saith he unto them, my soul is exceeding sorrowful. That alone should have been enough to wake everybody up. Jesus saying, man, I'm sad. I'm struggling right now. He says, my soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here and watch with me. All I need y'all to do, you can't really do nothing, but what I want you to do is give me your attention, give me your care, give me a few minutes of your time, and just watch with me. And he went a little further, assuming that the people he's been consistently giving to are giving him what he needs. Just watch with me. He went a little further, fell on his face and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt. He's struggling with the idea of dying on Calvary, right? His flesh is struggling. And he cometh unto the disciples and findeth them asleep. All I wanted y'all to do, give me a little of your time, give me a little focus, give me a little concern. Just show me that you care about me. I'm telling you, I'm exceedingly sorrowful unto death, and I want y'all to watch me with me. You don't know if I'm trying to tell you I'm about to commit suicide, and then I come back and here y'all are. He cometh unto the disciples and findeth them asleep, and saith unto Peter, what? You the leader. Could you not watch with me 1 hour? All the stuff I've done for you. I can hear Jesus talking. All of the things I've done for you, you couldn't watch with me 1 hour? And then he says, watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. So Jesus gives us an example of what it looks like and what it feels like to be a giver and coming up empty when it's your turn. And there are three things that I want to just share with you that I hope and I pray and I believe will give you some perspective that will help you on your journey of being a giver. One thing we're not going to do, we're not going to allow other people to change who we are. We are givers. We make the world go round. We are the ones that God uses to make the world go around. We're not going to change who we are constitutionally, fundamentally. We are going to continue to be who we are. The first thing I want to say to you is this. Think about it this way. Takers have no limits. You got to be able to distinguish between people that need you versus people that deserve you. Because what I've discovered is when you are a giver, a lot of times you're exhausted and you're depleted because you're surrounded by takers. And takers have no limits. Everybody that needs you does not deserve you. Some of you all would do well, though this message is about more than just financial giving. It is also about financial giving. Some of you would do well to stop being so boisterous about your financial blessings, because your financial blessings, when you announce these things, it attracts users and takers. And takers have no limits. And those of you that have not grown beyond this blood is thicker than water stuff, you have not lived long enough to learn that some of the most abusive and some of the most prolific users are those that carry your blood. You get to a certain point, you just don't need no more cousins. Just don't need no more cousins. Come on now. Don't need no more aunties. Don't need no more. Because sometimes these are the people that drain you the most, because takers have no limits. The users are, you can't even number the amount of users in the world. And a lot of times you come to the Lord's house and you think, well, oh, this is a safe place. Babe, the users, the takers are all over the Lord's house. You got to learn how to move with discretion, and you got to remember everybody that needs you does not deserve you. And God has not called you to be the savior. And there are some people you just need to say no to without an explanation. And it doesn't need to be no, I'm sorry, but no. What are you sorry for? The answer is no. Because usually people that are givers also struggle with toxic empathy. You feel so empathetic towards people, you destroy your own life. You dismantle all of the blessings that God gives you, trying to take care of all of these people that will run you into the grave and won't even respect you enough, honor you enough to show up for your funeral. I'm preaching on this Holy Ghost Day. I'm preaching. Better than y'all shouting. I'm preaching. 1 Timothy 6:10 says, for the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. Some people eager for money have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. There are some people that are so focused on money and self gain and self advancement that they will run over their own mothers to advance themselves. And you got to understand, as a giver, on some of these days when you feel empty, you got to understand that takers have no limits. And a lot of times, these people that you call your circle, these people that you call your friends, are nothing but takers. You don't need a circle of takers. If you're going to have a circle, you need a circle that pours back into you. That's what you need. You need people that are there for you like you're there for them, right? And you need to lose this idea that somehow you're doing the work of God by allowing users and takers to deplete your resources that were designed to advance the kingdom of God, designed to improve the quality of your family's life, designed to help those that, really need. And here you are surrounded by all of these vultures, and you calling them friends. Have you ever noticed you're the only one reaching into your wallet? Have you noticed you're the only one that's showing up when folk get sick? When you get sick, you can't even get a can of soup. Have you noticed you're the only one that's showing up for everybody's everything? And when it's your turn, everybody got a bunch of excuses? These are takers. You empty because you're surrounded by takers. You got to get all of these takers out of your life. It's better to rock out by yourself than to be running around with all of these false friends that are nothing but takers. I know I'm getting in trouble on this one, but it's cool. It's all good. I can handle it. I'm from Holly Grove. Those of y'all from the United States of America and Louisiana and New Orleans specifically, you know about Holly Grove. I can rock with it, roll with it. No big deal. So givers often feel empty because givers quite often have the tendency to surround themselves with takers. Second reason that givers often feel empty is because those that need you have no capacity to reciprocate. And we have the idea that where we, the people we give to, the people we give ourselves to are the ones that are going to replenish us. And so one of the biggest mistakes givers make is to build your entire life where you're needed. Not necessarily with takers, but around people that authentically, sincerely, and genuinely need what God has supplied you with. And we don't create another circle of people that are on par with us and can pour back into us. And then we need another circle where people are above us and can inspire us. If you live your whole life with only the people that need you and you never develop camaraderie with people that are on par and understand you, you're going to always end up empty. And if you don't find a circle or you don't find a place where you're around people that are on another level that inspire you and it can actually give to you, you're going to soon run out of what you need to have to give to those that you're assigned to meet their needs. I hope that's making sense. Because life is not always about reciprocity. Sometimes life is just about being a blessing where you're needed. But you got to also understand how to stay in a posture where you continue to have what you need to give to those who need you. Like as a pastor, I'm always pouring. I'm always pouring. I'm always pouring. Always pouring. I'm always pouring. Well, I gotta have a pastor. I gotta have mentors that I look up to, that pour into me. I gotta have people who have more than I have, that can give me things that I never realized I needed, so I can go back to where my assignment is and have what I need to give, because the people whose needs I meet will never be able to reciprocate, right? It's kind of like a parent and a child. The child is never able to reciprocate. Children, if they grow up well adjusted, they don't really reciprocate the investment you make into them as a parent when they're growing in an infant and toddler and childhood and teenage and all that kind of thing and through college and everything. They don't usually reciprocate that until you become elderly and you need them to help you manage life, if they show up for you, right? But that's kind of like what a lot of us experience when you're in an environment where you're needed, and you're anticipating that the environment where you're needed is going to be the same environment that's going to pour back into you. You're sadly mistaken, and you're going to end up depleted emotionally, spiritually, and all of this. You're going to have to find a circle of people that are operating on par with you and understand where you are and can encourage you and pour back into you. Then you're going to have to find people who are on the next level that can pour down into you. Proverbs 19:17 says, "He that hath pity upon the poor lendeth unto the Lord, and that which he hath given will he pay him again." So those that need you will never have the capacity to reciprocate. But God says, I'll pour it back into you. And one of God's ways of pouring it back into you is learning how to create a new circle that is for your benefit. See, you're for the benefit of a certain circle, but now you need a new circle that's for your benefit, right? Hope this is making sense to you. And then finally, we find ourselves quite often empty, emotionally drained, just burned out with it, just almost ready to quit on it, because the harvest doesn't come from where the seed is sown. Kind of bleeding out of point number 2, actually, that those that need what you have don't have the capacity to return it. And so when you have number 3, the expectation that where you sow is where the harvest is going to come from, that can leave you frustrated, because your harvest, unlike agriculture, your harvest doesn't come from the specific ground all the time where the seed is planted. Sometimes you plant the seed in one country and the harvest will come up in another. Jesus put it this way. He says, "A prophet is without honor, but in his own country." Sometimes you sow the seed in your homeland, and sometimes you got to visit far away in strange places and strange faces to find the honor. Now, the people that benefit from you the most are the ones that honor you the least. And if you're looking for the honor from those that are directly in the, on the level of those whose needs you meet, you'll be frustrated. You might even become angry, but you don't need to become angry, because the harvest many times it's coming, but it comes up in different places. It comes up, at different times that you least expect it. And I love what 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 6 through 8 says. "But this I say, he which soweth sparingly," just sow the seed, man, whatever the seed is, sow it, "shall reap also sparingly, and he which soweth bountifully shall reap also bountifully. Every man according as he purposeth in his heart, so let him give, Make sure your heart is in the right place, not grudgingly or of necessity. Don't be angry. Don't do it just because it's your job. For God loveth a cheerful giver. And God is able to make all grace abound towards you, that ye always having all sufficiency in all things may abound to every good work. So you sow the seed in a place of need with people that you're constantly blessing, and they may never rise to honor you. But you go across town and you find people that you've never known, but they know you, and they give you all of the honor that you thought you were going to get from the place where you sowed the seed. God made the harvest come up. It just didn't come up where you thought it was supposed to come up. But you keep sowing the seed, not grudgingly, not even just out of obligation, but cheerfully. Keep meeting the needs of people that don't necessarily honor you. Keep sowing into people that don't necessarily really see who you are. And God will continue to make all grace abound towards you, that you will always have all sufficiency. And they're wondering, how are you doing it? Right? You know, I speak to this from the perspective of a pastor. Years ago, many years ago, to make room for staff that we needed at the time, I came off of salary. And I said, well, I'll go on love offering. Well, you know, love offering many days behind multiple services was a stack of envelopes that looked like that, ministering to all these people, even today. To be honest, I mean, it's just the truth. Quite often, it's a stack of envelopes that look just like that. That's how few people say, I'm going to take this envelope and I'm going to be a blessing to my pastor. And I noticed something. In as much as I'm in the place where I'm needed and sowing the seed that I'm ordained to sow, and the envelope stack looks like this from multiple services, sometimes multiple campuses, I never lack anything I need. When members come and say, Pastor, I need, my light's about to get cut off, I'm able to meet that need. And it ain't because they've sown into me. It's because I've sown the seed, I've given like God told me to give, with the right heart, with the right spirit, and God causes the harvest to come up. I was here in Egypt, and I noticed through an electronic means somebody just sent me, a significant seed, and said, enjoy Egypt. When I got to Egypt, these people spent thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars to be here, just because I said, y'all meet me in Egypt. People from all over the United States of America and even from other parts of the world have met me in Egypt, spending tens of thousands of dollars. One lady said before I left home, from another part of the country, she's not a part of the ministry, she said, God told me to give you this. She gave me an envelope. The harvest comes up. This is for you givers, because you pour out your heart in certain places and you think it's supposed to come from here, and you get frustrated and you get angry. Keep your heart right. Keep the right spirit. Keep doing what you're supposed to do. God's going to make all grace abound towards you. You'll have all sufficiency in all things. And so I just came today to inspire and to encourage the givers. When you feel empty, I need you to remember these three things. And just know you're not by yourself. I'm praying for you. I love you. The world needs you to keep giving. Don't cast your pearl to swine. Don't give your pearl to those takers. Right? Understand that those that need you won't have the capacity to reciprocate. And understand that your harvest is not going to come from the same place you sowed the seed, but your harvest is coming. Know that I love you, and you're on top, and you're going higher, and keep on giving. We love you.
We here at RC Blakes Ministries want to thank you for spending this time with us today. RC and Lisa are always honored to have you with us. Don't forget to reach out to us by visiting our website at www.rcblakes.com. While you're there, you may join our mailing list and receive a free download of The Laws of Manifesting Your Vision by RC Blakes. Also look at all of the online programs by RC. You may find all books written by RC and Lisa. Once again, all of us here at RC Blakes Ministries want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And as we always say, see you at the top.